Hello and welcome to the Take It Offline podcast. My name is Mike Imgood, and today I'm joined by Mike Rudolph.
Hey, Mike.
And Mitch Plust. How's it going, fellas?
Hey, Mike and Mike.
Hey, that's not an old joke at all. So we're back. It's been
season 2.
It's season 2. Yes. It's been since April since we recorded the last podcast. Some school things got in the way. Didn't have time to really do the podcast, but that's done now.
Hey, congrats,
and
by the way.
Yes, thank you.
Big
I appreciate
bad
it.
MBE.
Big
MBA.
There we go.
Yeah, whatever.
Game of Thrones level suspense with how long it's been.
It really, yes.
Oh my God, I'm pumped for this next season.
I know. That's also April?
April.
Yeah,
April. What else is April?
Well, I feel that the last time I did a podcast was in April.
Wow.
Big
Look
April
at that,
thing.
full circle.
Yeah, big April thing.
Big April guy over here. What's your
O'Neill?
least favorite month?
My least favorite month is February.
Is
By
April
a long
your-
shot.
By a long shot.
Yeah, I absolutely despise
So it's about to
February.
be your worst or your least favorite time of the year.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is. Well,
Wow.
my second least favorite month is January. So we're in a dark period
Wow,
right now.
This is rough for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Glad we could help brighten it up
Yeah,
for
as you
a
can
little.
tell, I'm really depressed right now.
Is
I'm not-
April your favorite?
April is not. I don't know. I like the spring months. Like they're fine.
They're fine.
Yeah. The summer months are the best. Obviously, you can
I
do a lot
disagree.
more.
I'm a winter guy.
I'm not.
Right now we have snow outside. This is where it's at. I
It's-
walk outside and there's fresh snow. Like it just puts a smile on my face.
That does not put a smile on my face.
I'm a winter guy in Florida and I'm a summer guy here.
Yeah,
Depends
That
on
checks
where I
out.
am.
Yeah, you're a sunny and 75 kind of guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch, it was really funny because Rudy and I walked to go get something to eat at lunch the other day, and we both commented on how at the office you had 4 layers of clothing on inside the office because of how cold you were. And I don't blame you, I blame the climate, and that you came from weather that was extremely hot and humid.
By inside the office, you mean I came in
No,
from outside?
it was the day that I said, "Wow, you have a lot of layers on." You're like, "Oh, you too," and you got real mad about it. You remember that? And I was
How do
like,
you recall?
Yeah, I was like, "I'm not judging. I'm just stating a fact. You have a lot of layers."
All
on.
right, I had 3 layers. I had 4 when I went outside.
That's not
or
true.
came in from
Mitch,
inside.
I walked over to your desk and...
In the morning?
In the morning.
Because I just got in.
That's not true. You were sitting at your desk doing stuff. And I walked over and I said, "Hey, Mitch, do you want to go get a cup of coffee?" He said, and you said, "Let me take off my jacket real quick." So you had your jacket on at your desk. You took
Yeah.
your jacket on and there was still 3
Were
layers
you
of
working
clothing.
at that point?
He was.
Yeah. I don't take my jacket off immediately. I'm still cold when I get in. I need to warm up a little bit and then I take it off.
And I believe my comment was at lunch. You were putting your jacket on. I think the jacket is what made it, because you had number one, you had a lot of layers. That's just stating facts here.
That's true.
There's no judgment here. There were a lot of layers, but the thing is, each layer was so differently colored. It was just very distinct. And they each had their own different end line as it went further and further down the V on your chest. So it was just very apparent how many layers you had.
I think that was something I also noticed was just you. It was like you had a gray jacket and then blue underneath and then red and then gray, and they were all distinctly different colors, which is what caught my eye. That's why I said something to you. But
You should have popped all of those collars.
you should have.
You would have been the man forever.
That's how I drive into work.
Listen up, I'm the man, I'm the man.
And I have to purposefully zigzag in front of people and then just give them the finger when I get the pop
That
collars.
makes sense. Yeah. All right. So we're sitting here on Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
That's
we have
right.
the day off.
R.I.P.
We do. Yes, R.I.P. Great man. Great man. But as I sit back and reflect on what happened this weekend, what I have determined is that we as a society know absolutely nothing. Because we talked about how cold it was outside. But on Saturday, they had been, well, let's fast forward to last week. Wow, fast forward to last week. That's how that works.
I'm still confused.
Rewind to last week, where they were predicting that we were supposed to get a bunch of snow this weekend.
Uh-huh.
Were they not?
I was so ready to get snowed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on Saturday, we're supposed to be getting all this snow, and I'm sitting here waiting for it to come, and you know what?
Rain.
It just never came.
Rain.
So I'm sitting there, and it's still really cold, and it's really cold outside, but we were waiting all week for the snow. The weather people were predicting it, and it never came, which makes me think that being a meteorologist is that's like the safest job in America, because they can consistently be wrong, and there's no punishment for it.
I always wonder, how scientific those people are. You know, because it's a science position. And they're scientists. They're meteorologists. But, the people who are on the TV and, they're saying stuff, they got to just be the front. You know what I mean? I can't imagine they're the ones in the back, doing calculations and stuff.
Well, I think they do some stuff, but I think that, whenever
Do
you
they?
see people on the news, it's like there's like a team of meteorologists that put all that
Right.
data together
Yeah.
for the person on the television to be able to present. But I just can't, like, this happens every single time that we're expecting some giant event, and they're consistently wrong. The news reports, like, pandemics that are coming across America, and then it's just a dusting of snow.
Yeah.
It's just,
All they try and do is like say, here's a cold front, here's a warm front. They're gonna clash. You may be on this line, you may not.
yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the radar? We were like, I don't know,
Right on the edge.
Yeah, we were, like,
basically
right on the
like
line.
30 miles south of where like it would have been 9 inches of snow, but instead we got half a night of rain and half a night of snow. So
Yeah.
like we just got a ton of ice in the morning, pretty much.
Yeah. It was unreal.
Yeah. But the downshot of that is there was not enough snow to go sledding this weekend. And
No.
there's an amazing sled hill by my house, and it kind of ruined my whole weekend.
It did get a little icy.
I
so-
do recall getting invited over, and I never got a call back
There-
to say
I,
we were
I
sledding.
went over to the sled hill, and it was just like patchy and wasn't
Not-
good. It
not
was not
ideal
good. I saw people
conditions.
going down. There were still families there to like sled, but like you could tell they stopped halfway and they had to like kind of use their legs and
Yeah.
like push like slinky their way down the hill.
Well, the perfect kind of snow for sledding is like whenever you get snow and then it rains and ices on top. Like
Ooh,
that's
good.
that's like the
crunchy
ideal
snow.
What's that?
Crunchy snow.
Crunchy snow. Yeah, that's like the ideal snow. We haven't had any of that in a while. That's the ideal snow.
Yeah, I guess kind of like less friction if it's somewhat frozen.
Yeah.
Slide on top of it.
Yeah.
Did you do a lot of sled riding in Florida?
Yeah, down the beach sand.
Ah, that'd be cool.
Not a lot of snow.
It's called
huh?
boogie boarding.
Well, something else that happened this weekend, unfortunately, is there was some championship games this past weekend, AFC and NFC championship games
Talking about the NFL here.
in the NFL. And
The what?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
It's no big deal.
but we are once again witnessing the Patriots going back to the Super Bowl.
That's why I wouldn't worry about it.
I get it.
I almost don't want to watch the game now.
I know
I
it's
don't
terrible.
either. It's the two teams I did not want to. Well, fun fact is, I picked this week's games and last week's games. There was 6 total games. I'm 0 for 6.
Wow.
I picked.
That
the
is a
Sa-
fun fact.
I picked the Saints and the Chiefs yesterday,
Yeah.
and they both lost. And then I picked.
Were those logical picks or were those with your heart?
Well, last week I
They
picked.
were illogical.
Yeah, last week I picked all away teams.
Okay.
And so all the home teams won. So I was like, I'll flip that on its head and pick all home teams this
See,
week.
that's where you messed up. Stick with your guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of the home teams lost this week. So
Both.
both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we get to watch the Patriots in the Super Bowl again.
So at what point is the NFL going to start doing a reasonably fair overtime? Because
Yeah.
as a Packers fan, the Packers did not make it to the Super Bowl because they lost a coin toss to the Seahawks, and it's the exact same thing here.
Yeah.
Now Brady gets to go to another Super Bowl
Yeah.
Because of a coin toss.
because of a coin
I
toss.
like the college overtime. Where,
I do too. I wish the NFL would state that.
Yeah.
I like it, but it kind of takes out the special teams aspect of it. Like,
Yeah.
if they just both got 2 drives on a full football field, like whoever scores the most points out of an equal number of drives makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, so what the existing rule is the team that wins the coin toss is most likely going to accept the ball in halftime, and they're going to try to go down the field and score the touchdown, which if they do that, they automatically win the game. And they
Right.
don't give the other team any shot of bouncing back.
They should let the other team decide. If they go down and then they score a touchdown and then they go for 2, then they should win the game.
Yeah.
But if not, if they play it safe and they score a touchdown, they get 1 extra point, the other team should be able to get a shot,
Yeah.
I think. You know what I mean? Because there's no way they could get a max. Well, I guess they could both score 2 points.
Yeah, they could both get 8 total on a drive.
Right, and
Like,
then it would just be double overtime and triple overtime.
and then that's where I kind of like the college rules where you
Yeah.
would flip back and forth between who
Right.
starts on offense.
Yeah.
Because they started they started the opposing team's 25, which they're automatically in field goal range at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, typically in field goal range if you have a good kicker.
Even for college, it's
Yeah.
typically field goal.
I thought it was nuts though that both of the games yesterday went into overtime, which
Yeah.
I don't think has ever happened. Both of the NFC and AFC championships going into overtime in the same season.
It is pretty nuts.
Yeah, 39 seconds left. That was pretty improbable. But the
Yeah.
game before that went to overtime because of a call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see that no call?
Yeah, that was pretty.
That was
terrible.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you see something and be like, no, that's 100% rigged? You know what I mean? Like,
I saw.
It could not have been a more blatant pass interference call.
I saw it was the head of officiating must have like come out with a statement saying that should have been called pass interference.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw that.
That,
That doesn't
like-
impact the game, though.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't now because the Rams are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But so I was looking on the internet this past weekend, and I found some other things of interest that prove that we as a society still know absolutely nothing about how to do anything. And this is not great for an audio-only podcast, but it's good for the two of you to see. I have this nice little monitor up where I can share the two of you things I'm
Gorgeous.
talking
Yeah.
about. But I found this. It's Oreo came out with this new thing called the Most Stuff Oreo. Here it says it's
With
coming
one
soon.
F.
Yeah, it's.
Like, if they're going to do the most stuff, they should at least get one stuff right. You know what I mean? Put an extra F. Spell it
Oh,
S-T-U-F-F.
so it's like S-T-U-F.
Maybe
Yeah,
they don't want to be associated with like marshmallow fluff.
maybe.
Well, stuff is a word, is it not?
It is.
Like, they could have just used the correct word.
They could have called this like the stuffiest Oreo or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But look,
Sounds like a cold.
if we're looking at this,
Yeah.
I initially thought this was 2 double stuffs together.
It looks
But
like it.
I think it's 3 actually. I think
You
if
can
you
see the
look,
lines a little bit.
yeah, I think that looks like it's 3 stuffs, which at that point it's way too much.
Have they always had the specks in the cream?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Like they do that for the ice cream, but I've never seen that in an actual Oreo.
Right, because the specs are to simulate the shell, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the upper and lower layers.
So now they're like, there's so much cream or what icing, whatever it is, that they need to simulate the shell inside the shell or the cookie inside the
Yes.
cookie.
Yeah, the whole thing is cookies and cream. So they're
Yeah.
doing cookie and cream, cookie.
Yeah,
That's what
that's-
an Oreo is.
Yeah, that's what.
They need
yeah.
to get it together, man.
Well, I don't understand why they're trying to mess with a good thing because the double stuff Oreo might be the best cookie you can buy.
I don't know about
No,
that.
no way.
You get the hell out of town.
No. There's truth to the fact that Oreo says it's Milk's favorite cookie because it absolutely is Milk's favorite
Even
cookie.
Oreo doesn't believe it's the best cookie money can buy.
I believe it.
I don't think it's
Well,
Milk's favorite
commercially,
cookie.
like I'm not talking
That's
about.
all right. That's a
I'm
big
not talking.
caveat
That's
there.
what I meant. I'm not talking about like if you go to a bakery and buy a cookie. Like I would obviously
Yeah.
go to a bakery,
All right.
but like if I'm gonna
So at
buy a
least you're not
package.
clinically insane.
I'm
That's
not.
good.
Yeah, I understand a bit of logic here.
Yeah.
But like if I'm going to the store and I'm buying packaged cookies, like Oreo is my first go-to.
For my money, it's the Chewy Chips Ahoy, the red bag.
Those are fine.
Oh, fine.
They're fine.
They're way more than fine.
I would
they're
go.
like-
I would go Oreo
They're
over
like
those.
fine, but like in a them fine. You know what I mean? Like you gotta bite your knuckle kind of fine.
I just picture you in your dormer with
Yeah.
a poster above your bed of just like cookies.
I just imagine you going into the store and seeing them there and doing that motion, and then people just looking at you like you're insane. Yeah, but this is the thing. It's not gonna last really long. It can't.
This is the equivalent of the what is it? The double down that
Oh, the
from
double down
KFC
from KFC.
with a chicken sandwich that's just
Well,
instead of bread, it's just
I
two
think-
pieces of chicken breast.
I think this
So
is
3
slightly
pieces.
different
Yeah.
because I think that the double down was causing people to actually die. That's
That's true.
yeah.
Well, we don't know that. I doubt it.
Yeah, I can tell you it was definitely not helping them be healthy.
Yeah.
Neither is this though, so that's a fair point.
So I'm confused. What about this makes you think that we know nothing?
Well, who asked for this?
I don't think anyone would.
That's the point. Like, I think Oreo was just running out of ideas. I mean, they have a boatload of different flavors that they can come up with. To me, I think that they just need to keep moving on the double stuff brand. Everyone loves double stuff.
Can't go wrong with the double
You
stuff.
can't. I don't know anyone who's buying regular Oreos though either. So they should kind
I've bought a couple regular Oreos.
I think they should phase those out.
Double stuff are, you can't argue. They're better.
Yeah,
They're just
they are
better.
better, yeah.
I don't know that they're 2 times better. Do you think double stuff is twice as good as a regular Oreo?
Absolutely,
You do.
I do.
So then by that math, the what is it?
The most.
Six?
The most stuff.
6 stuffs in there
There's
per
6
cookie.
stuffs in there.
So do you think that that math holds up?
No, I think that there's a point of no return where you hit too much icing and you just can't handle it
What
anymore.
is the premium Oreo that money could buy?
double stuff?
Double stuff.
It's the double stuff.
So it's twice as good as a regular Oreo,
Yeah.
and then a steep
And
drop
then
off
it's a
from
steep
there.
drop. Yeah, because if
So
you
if there's
get
a triple stuff, is
No.
that better or worse?
it's
than a
worse.
double?
Double
You know,
stuff is like the
I
the
was,
epitome.
I was just about to comment on the marketing of this. Like, whose job is it to create this thing? But then I realized we're talking about it like way more than we should be.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So good job. I guess good job to Bisco.
No,
Oh,
we got beef. We
Yeah.
got beef with this.
All right, one more thing that I got here. I found this, and this actually was brought to my attention by Pat Himes, friend of the show, Pat Himes.
Himes.
Yes. He sent me this yesterday. So on previous episodes of the podcast, I've talked about my distaste for Peeps because Peeps are disgusting.
Peeps are disgusting.
Are not? I mean,
They're not good.
I don't know
If
how.
you're gonna eat a marshmallow, eat a marshmallow.
Eat a marshmallow. Don't eat a Peeps. A peep?
Was it 8 peep?
One peep.
No, Peeps.
Peeps?
There's an S there.
But it's one.
But there's multiple.
One
It's
peep.
a Peeps registered, so the name is Peeps.
So it'd be a Peeps marshmallow. I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But so we're looking at the box here. It's got this bright yellow spring Easter design on it, with some pictures of some Peeps on here. I'm looking at the cereal. It looks about as appetizing as the cardboard box that it's packaged in.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The cereal looks like the Fruit Loops.
It looks like Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
It doesn't look bad to me. The cereal doesn't look bad.
I bet
but
you-
I can guarantee the taste is awful.
It's
Yeah.
marshmallow flavored cereal, flavored.
Flavor.
But they don't have marshmallows, do they?
I think
or
that-
is that the white?
See these little white guys here?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure those are marshmallows.
I don't know
So
how this is gonna work on a podcast. For
Well,
the
you
people
can look it
listening
up
in, I
yourself.
apologize.
Yeah, you can look it up yourself.
Are you gonna post links?
Sure. Yeah.
You should.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a.
So you can look at the links as you're listening through.
Yeah.
Just
It's like
don't
the-
be driving.
It's the opposite of Lucky Charms. Like the marshmallows are the blandest part of this cereal.
Yes.
Unlucky Charms.
They're always acting like Lucky Charms.
This is just one of those things, again, going back to the most stuff Oreo. I don't know who asked for this.
I don't understand how Peeps are still in business.
I don't
to be
know
honest with
either.
you. Like if that's a poll, that's a Facebook poll.
Yeah.
Does anyone actually enjoy those?
I do know a few people who like Peeps.
Do you?
Yeah. It's the same people that like candy corn. It's a small majority.
You know, Mindy's a candy corn person.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it.
You might need to have a sit down and talk with her about that.
We will.
Yeah, not good.
I'll
Not
talk
good.
to her about Peeps.
I feel like 50% of Peeps that are created are microwaved, though. Just to explode.
Wait, I've heard
That's
that
fair.
people
Yeah.
will let Peeps get stale and then eat them after they're stale.
What?
So that they're like, so when you would pull a Peeps out of its package, it's soft and you bite into it and it kind of has the consistency of a very soft marshmallow. But what people like to do is pull it out, let it get stale, and then it'll be crunchy on the outside. So you're like biting into a crunchy marshmallow. So they've taken something that is already unappetizing and made it even more unappetizing by letting it get stale. I don't get it.
I think what's the other marshmallow brand? Jet Puffed?
Jet puffed? That's like
that a
your that's
brand?
like your typical that's like your
Or is that the
typical
style? Either way, the Jet Puff one, the
Yeah.
typical one that you see, if they made one in the shape of a bunny, Peeps are out of business.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
How
It's
is
just a
nobody
better marshmallow. I don't get how you can make such a terrible marshmallow and have it. Well, it's specifically for one random holiday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't do they make I'm remembering
Easter.
Peeps
That's it.
around Easter, but I don't think that they make Peeps for any other holiday. Do
I
they?
don't think so. I've never seen them.
I don't think so.
That's
Well,
the
yeah.
only time they're in stores.
To your point, how has no one come up with a competitive
Right?
product to them?
Yeah.
Why
But
are they
who
running
wants
a
to?
Why are they running a monopoly? Why are they
Maybe
running
it's
a
such a
monopoly
bad
on this?
product, all the other marshmallow manufacturers are like, ugh, let's
Maybe.
just steer clear of that.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is a thing that exists.
Huh.
And I kind of want to try it just so that I can firsthand tell you why it's so bad.
Can I just point something out real
So
fast?
you're keeping them in business just to talk about how terrible they are.
I am. I'm really giving them free marketing. Here, Kellogg's. You're welcome.
I would have not guessed that's Kellogg's. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, Kellogg's running out of ideas.
You're
Yeah.
right. All their cereals are so healthy.
Yeah, you're right. Is Cookie Crisps? Is that what theirs?
Is there any other cereal brand other than Kellogg's?
I don't know. Kellogg's is one of those big umbrella corporations, though. It's not. It's part of that big multi-conglomerate
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, so that's just proving that we know nothing
Spelled stuff.
as a society. I spelled stuff wrong on the
Oh,
agenda.
you put
here.
2 F's on there?
Sorry,
Oof.
that's my
What a-
bad. I spelled it
What
correctly.
an idiot!
So, you know, we're a little bit through January 2019, but I thought that we would take some time to reflect back on what happened in 2018. Some,
Can I point something
Please
out real
do.
fast? There's an ad on the side of this Peeps article that says, "I can't stop buying Resident Evil 4."
I don't get that. If you buy it one time, why would you need to buy
How
it?
many times do you need to buy that? God, what are they advertising?
That may be something we need to research later.
like, just don't do it anymore. How hard could that possibly be?
What was that show? I Have an Addiction. Is that like I Have an Addiction or
Oh
something?
my god!
Yeah.
Do you ever see that where the girl is eating sofas? Have
do
you seen
remember
that
that,
one?
yeah.
Oh my god! She'll just break into her sofa and eat the cushion
fluff?
out of it. Yeah,
She's a Peeps fan.
she's gotta be a Peace fan. But she's gone through like 3 or 4 sofas. It's insane. Like
is
that.
insane.
That was a great show, actually.
I love
Is it a most stuffed sofa?
All you can eat buffet every time you lay down. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I didn't mean
you're
to
fine.
derail.
Let's reflect back on 2018, and the three of us are pretty big movie buffs, are we not? Mitch, maybe more than you and I combined, Rudy.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I kindly refer to Mitch as a cinephile in the most endearing way possible, because every time that we talk with Mitch about movies, we'll say things that we like, and then he'll bring up things such as, "Oh, the director of this movie did this, this, and this," and I'm like,
Love
Really,
that guy.
That
I
was a
really
good
like
movie.
his style in this.
that
And he's
was a-
trying something new in this movie. I was like, I didn't even know
That was a good
even
movie,
thing.
yeah.
I've never heard of that name in my life.
So what I did here was I pulled up a list of some popular movies that came out in 2018, and I wanted to talk with you guys about what was your favorite movie of 2018, and then what was your least favorite movie of 2018.
Ooh, that wasn't how you phrased it pre-note.
What did I say previously?
What would you recommend to someone?
Okay, let's go with that
Let's go.
then. Yeah, let's go with that. What would you recommend to somebody
Okay.
from
Wanna go me
2018?
first?
What's that? Yeah, Mitch, you go first.
All right. I thought about this because there are surprisingly a lot of decent movies this year. I didn't think that a while ago, but
Yeah, that kind of came through at the end, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did.
there's a lot of like really great genre-specific movies. Like if you like this, then you'll like this. But I think the most accessible one that I saw, and I'm also going to try and talk about one that like people probably haven't seen, so it's a recommendation.
Sure.
Free Solo. You
Free
guys heard of
Solo.
that?
Like Solo, the Star Wars movie?
No.
This was
this
the
is called,
rock climbing one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is about Alex Honnold, the world's best free solo rock climber, meaning without ropes.
Yeah.
And it's about his like years-long journey to climb a 3,000-foot face on El Capitan. And it just goes through like the psychology of it, just how dangerous it is. It's shot in IMAX, so it's gorgeous. And they released it, and I saw it a few months ago, and they actually re-released it in IMAX right now because of how successful it was.
Wow.
I
That's
definitely,
awesome.
I definitely recommend it to anyone because it's got something for everyone.
That's
in
a
it.
good recommendation.
That is a good
That's something
recommendation.
that's right up my alley, and I literally it was not on my radar at all. Did not know that was even a thing.
I do remember you talking about it around the time it came out, but I never got to go see it. But that is...
I've never seen anyone do something like so meticulous. He has to be perfect, and it gets into his background and how he was raised and how he needs to feel like he did something perfect. And this is like his Super Bowl. There's even a move like 2,000 feet in the air where he's got to use his 2 thumbs to get across a rock.
Wow.
So if he like doesn't balance correctly or slips a thumb, he's dead.
Oh,
It's insane. And then it
That's
gets into the
terrifying.
ethics of like, should they be filming him? Because is he going to try and do something more aggressively if it's for the
Because
camera?
of that?
because
Yeah.
for the camera. Wow.
And the guys filming it are friends with him, so they're like, I don't know if we should be doing this.
Wow.
It gets really tense.
that sounds really good. Huh. Yeah, I'm in for that.
Yeah,
I'll take a
me
Mitch
too.
recommendation.
Like, Rudy, what's a movie that you would recommend?
So, this was kind of a weird one for me. I liked it, but I know you guys have very strong opinions on this, which is why I picked it.
Okay.
So I had the opportunity to read the book Ready Player One, courtesy of Mike Immigrant over here. So I watched the Ready Player One movie after you guys torched it, just absolutely hated it. So I watched the movie. I was like, I don't have any issues with that. I thought it was really good. Or I thought it was a good movie. I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was good. And then you're like, it's nowhere near the book. So I was like, well, I've
Spoilers
never
for
read the
everyone
book.
listening that haven't seen this. It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. If you haven't read the book first, it's not a bad movie. But their whole issue with it, correct me if I'm wrong, is
ahead.
that it doesn't follow the book, and the book is really good, right?
That's a large issue with it. I think it's just the plot is just generally lacking logic.
So
I didn't get that.
my take on it was that Spielberg directed this one.
He did.
Is that correct? So I imagine that Spielberg was in a room with the book, and he had the book in his hand. He put the book down, and then wrote the script. He did write the script.
He did.
write the script?
Actually, Ernest Cline helped write it with someone else, Zach Penn, who's done like I think a couple of X-Men stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that makes me feel even worse about it because this movie to me reminds me of someone like if you had never. They made this movie without even reading the book. Like that's how I feel about it.
I don't know about that. They definitely had to have read the book.
Well, they had to condense it to be in movie form. Like it should have been a TV series. Like
That would've
they
been
had to
good.
condense it and make
Yeah.
it visually appealing and exciting to watch. So
And
they're
they
like,
just
we're gonna just
threw-
completely change everything and
Yeah.
make it nonsensical.
They just threw as many pop culture references as
Yeah.
they possibly could. And the thing was, like, there's so many in the book that they couldn't have got them all, so they just got as many as they could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of those, it couldn't have worked because they couldn't get some of the things for the movie and that kind of thing. But having said that, it is very different, the movie from the book. Watching the movie first, it's a pretty good movie, and then you read the book, and the book is excellent. So, but they're very different in each of the aspects. So it's basically you're getting two different stories of the same thing. So it was a good experience overall to watch that movie because you're getting basically two of it. Whereas if you read the book first and then watched the movie, you'd be pissed because it's nothing like it.
Yeah.
So it's all a matter of perspective. So I will say, if you haven't read the book, watch that movie. It's a good movie. It might have gotten a lot of heat, but it's not bad if you haven't read the book.
I think this
Definitely
is
read the book after.
this is one of those cases where maybe, and I'll never know this because I read the book first. Had I gone in to see the movie before I read the book, maybe I would have had the same experience that you had on it. But because I read the book before I watched the movie, I thought the movie was absolute trash.
I don't think it would have influenced my opinion. Like The Martian, I read that book. I loved that book.
Yeah.
The movie was great for different reasons.
Yeah.
I felt completely differently about this one. Like, had I not read the book, I probably still would have hated it.
I think I feel the same way about the Lord of the Rings movies and books, where I watched the movies before I read the books. I really enjoyed the movies. I really enjoyed the books. They are similar, not exactly the same,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed them both separately. Like, I thought that they were both still really good.
Do you
Like,
think you would have enjoyed the movies as much if you had read the books first? Because it gives you something to compare it to. You're not having a novel experience.
I was
that
also a
first
lot
time.
younger when I saw those. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more cynical about things now. Not cynical, but critical
I-
about things.
no, you're cynical.
That's cynical as well. Yeah. So, I guess...
February's coming.
Yeah. All right, so what about... I'll give you my recommendation here. Mine was, we could pop up on the screen, Bumblebee. So I don't think either of you have seen Bumblebee, have you?
I did watch Bumblebee.
Did you go see Bumblebee?
I went to go see Bumblebee.
So I think that this movie really kind of slipped under the radar just because, one, how the Transformers movies, this Bumblebee obviously being a continuation of the Transformers franchise, they have slowly devolved into something that is unwatchable. Mm-hmm. And Bumblebee was kind of a nice little fresh restart. It was not directed by Michael Bay, which is a plus.
Yeah.
It was Stephen Knight,
I don't remember who directed
the
it.
guy that did Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yes.
That's a great movie.
So it actually has heart behind
Yes.
it, I guess.
Haley
Heartstring.
Steinfeld is in it.
A heartstring, if you will. You and your Haley Steinfeld.
Big
Mike.
Haley Steinfeld fan. Haley Steinfeld, she's the main actress in here, but it just basically tells like the origin story of Bumblebee.
I don't get it. Why?
I just like her. She's a good actress.
What else was she in?
Pitch
Do you like
Perfect.
Do you like
Pitch
her
Perfect?
music?
What's that?
Is it just her acting?
Well, the first time I think I ever saw her was in like the Pitch Perfect movies, and then she was in that Edge of 17 movie
She was good in that.
with Woody
You
Harrelson.
didn't see True Grit?
True Grit, I saw. She was the little girl in True Grit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was good in that.
Yeah.
She was. She was really good.
See?
Why do you have a thing for her?
No, I'm talking about she's a good actress in these movies.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
You just bring her up a lot. It can't just be actress.
I'm not. I'm bringing it up a lot just because I talk about Bumblebee a lot.
Do you like her personality?
She's very nice.
Yeah.
Is she funny?
She's funny. Very comical.
Good sense of humor.
Good sense of humor. But anyway, if you haven't seen this one, I recommend going to see it. I saw something before, like when I was reading the reviews about it, that this is the best movie that's come out in the Transformers franchise since the original one, and I think that probably holds up.
What was the second one about?
The racist twin robots.
That was number
that's-
2? I
yeah,
thought that was 3.
two. That was 2.
Ooh, there was a steep drop off after
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah, it was really bad. And then Megan Fox left, and then they just
She wasn't even good.
Yeah,
at the
she was
second
holding
one.
the franchise together.
She was holding the
Right, yeah.
franchise together. Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting not seeing Shia in this one. I guess he hasn't been in one.
No, there was one with Mark Wahlberg.
There's
that
2
was,
with Mark Wahlberg in it.
There were 2?
Yeah.
Ugh.
One of them was The Last Night. The last night was it was just completely unwatchable.
Last night I'm ever watching a Transformer movie. I'll tell you that.
But yeah, so that's what I fall on this. So now let's go to movies that you saw and would not recommend. So Mitch, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because Rudy already talked about mine.
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One?
That's great.
That was my recommendation because it was such a big movie, and like, if you've read the book, I can't imagine you're going to enjoy it. But I just had so many problems. Like, I don't think it's quite Prometheus level for me.
Oh, boy.
but
Oh my God, guys! If you haven't read Mitch's rant about Prometheus, you need to go out there and
It's
do
his
it.
magnum opus.
I almost
Nice.
created
Good
I
call
almost
back.
created another one after Ready Player One. I left
Really?
that theater just so upset with it.
Is there somewhere they can access your rant about Prometheus? Because it's worth a read. Like,
I can make it accessible.
You should.
You absolutely should.
it was like a blog post, right?
Yeah.
I just wrote it and emailed it to people. I don't know. I
You have to post
anywhere.
that somewhere.
Yeah.
I can let it out because
Okay.
it is a masterpiece.
I'll
It's
send it to
wonderful.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please do. I think we've talked Ready Player One to death, though. So Rudy, I'm
Yeah.
gonna move on to yours.
So looking at this here, things that I would not recommend. I wasn't a huge fan of Bumblebee. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Okay.
It was good. You're right. The series went from just horrific and unwatchable to that was a watchable movie. It was good. I don't know that I would go out of my way to recommend it, but it was pretty good.
So I think if we could just talk real quickly about this, I think for me it was just more refreshing.
That's fair.
It was.
I feel you.
It was very simplistic. I thought, like it
Yeah.
didn't try to overcomplicate things, which all of the Michael Bay films were extremely complicated
Yeah.
as far as what he was trying to accomplish.
You know what bugs me about all of the Transformers movies?
Michael Bay.
No, the Autobots. Like the Decepticons get the coolest things. They get to be helicopters. They get to be planes. They get to be like just badass jets. They get to be alien jets that can fly and turn into tanks and whatever. Everyone else is stuck to be in a car.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me as an advanced alien species that's the most efficient way to get around? Get out of here. Get off my planet.
Well, they're trying to blend in with everyday people, right?
Well, they
They're
can
not just
still
trying to
do
protect
that
the
and turn
military.
into more than one thing. You know what I mean? Like they have the ability
Can
to
they?
change whatever they want to turn into.
Have you seen the films, Mitch?
I've seen the first three.
They could just like scan, and then they could turn into something else.
And then turn into whatever they were before, too.
Yeah.
See, the only thing that did that in the first one, I think, was that little guy that got on board the cargo plane.
So Bumblebee does
Yeah.
that in
Bumblebee
the
did
first
it,
movie.
yeah.
He does it. Well, we're not going to spoil this one, but Bumblebee may or may not do that in this one too.
Well, he goes from alien to car, so
Yeah.
he does it at some point.
Yeah, yeah. He has to become a
Yeah.
car. It shocks me though that you would not recommend that one.
No, well, I don't dislike it, but that's not my pick for not recommendation. My pick would probably be Solo, the Star Wars film. Not Free Solo, because I actually want to watch that, but was not a fan of Solo, the Star Wars film.
You and I agree on that.
I
Yeah.
also agree with you. I think that might be the worst one that has come out since like they started rebooting the franchise.
Yeah, it was just a pure money grab. I
Yeah.
feel like it was just because it had Star Wars in the name,
Yeah.
they were like, it can be a pile of crap. And it was.
Can we talk for a minute about who got fired from that film and then what resulted in that firing?
Please do.
Of course we can, Mitch. Of course we can,
Do you guys?
fans.
Do you remember who they fired from this film?
No.
Lord Miller, the directing team that did the Lego Movie.
Okay.
They got fired for making a really witty original movie that didn't quite fit into the Star Wars canon. It was too unique for what the mold that Disney's trying to make it, and they ended up making Into the Spider-Verse instead.
That was amazing.
Yeah. I'm surprised that was not your pick for the recommended movie.
See, it's a big movie though. I wanted to recommend one that
Maybe
Can
no
I
one's
can I
seen.
just go on
That
record
everyone
right
would
now
like.
and recommend Spider-Man Into the
I
Spider-Verse?
think we would all recommend Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Phenomenal.
It is
the
fantastic.
movie's so good. It's everything you want from the comics and more. It's great.
just don't forget the bagel.
Just don't forget your name. Yeah, excellent movie.
Yeah,
If you haven't gone and seen it, you need to go see it.
for sure. So,
I left that out from my recommendation because technically I saw it in 2019.
oh, you did?
Yeah.
No, you saw it in 2018 with
You
us.
saw it with us.
I
Yeah.
thought it was
That was
2019.
That was 2018.
It was December.
That was
Wow.
December.
Never mind, guys.
That was-
I revoke Ready Player One and I go to Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't put Into
Good
the
call.
Spider-Verse as
Yeah.
mine because I thought that one of you two was going to recommend that one.
Yeah.
So, well,
It's
we were all on the same
It's on
page.
record. Also, Incredibles 2 was pretty
It
incredible
was really good.
as well.
Better than the first one.
Incredibles as well, or Incredibles 2 as in also?
TOO.
TOO.
Incredibles 2 was
Two.
Incredible 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would not recommend Solo?
I would not recommend Solo.
That's fair. I agree with you on that one. Mine was one, and you'll remember this once I bring it up. I had talked to you about it after I had gone to see it. You know that I like to go see scary movies. I'm a scary movie buff.
You are.
You knew this was bad, though.
I did.
You had
So
to.
You know what movie's coming. So back in college, there was a game that was very popular called Slender.
Was it a game first?
It was a game, yeah. So
Really?
I think it started on the internet as like a folk legend type of thing, and then evolved into a game that you could play. And we used to play it in college all the time. It was creepy. Slender Man would just pop up out of nowhere as you're walking through the woods trying to collect these notes. And
So the whole thing is, how does the game start? Like, what's the idea behind Slender?
So you are this character, and it's a first-person perspective, and you have to walk through the woods trying to collect notes.
Well, what is like the folk thing of
So-
Slender Man? Like, if you see him, then you die,
If
or
you
what?
see him, like he just like will appear and reappear out of nowhere. Like you're looking one direction, he's there. You look away, you look back, and he's gone.
Okay.
Like that's the whole
Yeah.
thing about Slender Man. And so as you're progressing through the game, like that happens. Like you'll look one way, you'll see him, you'll look back, and he's gone. And that's like the creepy
Yeah.
aspect of it. So they decided to make a movie
So he's
about it.
Batman.
He's Batman.
He's
yes.
Batman.
So they decided to make a movie about it. And I
Really
was
skinny
pumped.
Batman.
I was pumped about the movie because I was a big Slender Man fan. It's a scary movie. I was all hyped up about it. I go to see the movie, and they could not possibly have done a worse job making a movie about Slender Man. Whenever I watch a movie, my attention is usually on the movie the whole time. I remember about 3/4 of the way through the movie, I started daydreaming about something else because that is how poor of a movie this was. This might not be only the worst movie I saw in 2018. This might be the worst movie I've seen ever.
Oh,
Right up
man.
there with Crank.
Crank. Wow.
You still haven't seen The Room, have you?
I have not seen The Room,
The Room. Nice.
but I
Mitch,
cannot.
what is the worst movie you've ever seen?
Ooh, like, it's got to be The Room, right?
Well, no.
It's
That is a
bad enough that
truly
you enjoy
terrible movie.
watching it, though.
Right, that's the thing. You still get enjoyment out of that. What is the worst movie in terms of like walked out of there and it's just there's no redeeming qualities about it?
Like you could say The Room is so bad it's good.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It is so bad it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like for Slender Man, it's so bad that it's bad. Like there's no redeeming qualities about
It like toes that line where
Yeah.
it doesn't ever go into ridiculousness. It's just bad the whole time.
Because like I'll walk out of a movie sometimes and not enjoy it the whole way, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
think about things that I liked and then think about things I didn't like about
Yeah.
it. I tried doing that same thing for Slender Man, and the only thing that I could think about that I liked was that some of the sound effects that they used were fine. Like they were okay. Like that was the only redeeming quality.
In a wide release movie, they were okay.
Yeah.
The sound.
The
Yeah.
sound of some of the sound effects
Yeah.
were okay.
Like, if I had a blindfold, it would have been great.
Yeah. So what is the worst movie you've ever seen?
I don't know. I've got Ready Player One stuck in my head. That's definitely not the worst thing I've seen in theaters.
Like I think that you could recommend seeing The Room because it's one of those it's so bad that it's good type
You
of
did
thing.
Oh, yeah,
recommend
I
that to
did.
me, and I enjoyed watching it.
Slender Man, like I can't even recommend you watching it because it's like the so bad it's good thing. It's just so bad. Like
Yeah.
it's just bad. Yeah.
I think mine's got to be. You guys ever see Aragon?
Oh
yeah.
my
Oh
goodness.
no, actually, the dragon.
Yeah, I was big on those books, and it was one of those things. It got hyped. I read the books beforehand. I know the story, and I've never been more let down in my entire life.
That was a
watching movie.
humongous letdown.
And yeah, it was just. It's just terrible. It's the worst thing that I think I've ever seen in theaters.
It is bad.
Yeah.
The
I think
books were so good.
going back, it might have crossed. Like if I watched it now without the build up, I know how terrible it's going to be. If I went back and rewatched, it might cross over to that ridiculous line.
So
You know what I mean?
you read the book before the movie?
Yeah.
This is
that's a
completely,
big thing.
I
It's a
think
big
that's
thing.
completely different though because the fact that I watched that movie as a child and thought that it was bad
Yeah.
is very telling because a lot of kids watch movies and they'll tell you that it's a good movie and then you watch it as an adult and you're like that's one of the worst movies ever. The fact that we were able to watch that movie as kids and think that it's a terrible movie is is saying something.
Yeah.
I just give that kid credit. Wasn't the author like 15 when the
He
first
was
book
really
came
young.
out?
Yeah,
he was
he
young.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would take a movie deal no matter how bad it is. I'd still do it.
Christopher
true.
Paolini, I think is his name.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that wraps up 2018. But let's look forward to let's look forward to 2019.
Yeah.
So let's real quick, because we don't really know much about any of these movies yet, because we haven't seen them. But what is one movie in 2019 you're really excited for?
Godzilla.
You're a
King
big
of Monsters.
You're a big Godzilla guy.
Big Godzilla guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grew up watching a lot of Godzilla. Like, I don't know why, but I had a fascination with him. You know what I mean? And so my parents, like every birthday, they would give me a new like Japanese Godzilla movie. So like I grew up watching all the originals. No one else in my family did. I would just watch them. You know what I mean? Like it's just something that I just watched. I had a Godzilla toy that I would play with all the time. It's just I don't know. I'm a big Godzilla guy.
Do you think that this movie's going to be good?
I think it's going to be what I was hoping for from the last one. The last big Godzilla movie was, what, 2015?
15 or 14, yeah, around that time.
And I walked out of there very disappointed because the whole thing was they was fighting these giant mutos, they're called. They didn't even bother to give them names. And every time that Godzilla was about to fight these guys, it would follow the main characters like down into a subway or into a safe house, and it's just like, just show me what I want to see. You know what I mean? Like I'm not here for the story of this guy who's just on a train right now. Like I'm here to watch Godzilla. Let me watch Godzilla, and they just wouldn't. They kept teasing it, and the end was pretty good. There was like 10 minutes of good like fight that I was excited for, but the movies, like the old Japanese movies, they're real big on they just showed the monsters fighting.
Yeah.
That's what I like. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, Japan actually had a retaliation to all the American ones recently, and they're like, that's a terrible version of Godzilla. We gotta make our own again.
And they did, and it was pretty good. I watched that one too on Mitch's recommendation, and
I haven't even seen it, so
I think he just told me that it existed, and I was like, oh, nice. So I watched it, and it was pretty good. But this new one is gonna have like all the special effects of the last one that was there, but it's actually gonna be more like monster on monster.
It does look like it's going to be that way because there's a lot more monsters in this one.
Yeah, I think I got big hopes on this one. They said it's going to be a lot more like back to its roots type of Godzilla.
They made Godzilla look really cool.
They did.
They animated him really well.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he's going to be fighting like King Ghidorah and like Mothra and Rodan, I think it is.
Nice.
I know my guys.
I don't know any of that stuff.
I didn't even have a GameCube. My friend down the street had a GameCube, and I made him buy the Godzilla game.
So that you could play it?
We would play, it's basically Mortal Kombat for Godzilla. It was great. You would just destroy cities as you'd fight each other. It was
with
so
like
fun.
alligator arms.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Mitch, what about you?
Ooh, I couldn't pick one. I found 4 that I'm like kind of looking forward to because I don't know anything about them. Jordan Peele's got his follow-up to Get Out. Mm-hmm. It's called Us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even a huge fan of horror movies. It looks pretty good.
Get Out was amazing.
Yeah. So I'll watch anything Peele does now. He's even doing a Twilight Zone coming out next year.
You told me about that.
There's a movie called Ad Astra that's supposed to be like an interstellar type movie.
What's it called?
Ad Astra, I think. It's starring Brad Pitt. I think Knives Out is coming out next year. It's Rian Johnson's next movie.
Okay.
And I don't know how I feel about Tarantino anymore, but he does have a movie coming out that he's been working on for years called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh yeah, there's Ad Astra.
Oh, there is Ad Astra. Directed by James Gray.
Yeah, you did The Lost City of Z recently.
Huh.
If you liked Interstellar, you may want to telescope this one out.
Oh, so funny. So funny.
With an engineer.
All right.
Traveling in space. Sounds
Yeah,
great.
I'm sure engineers used very loosely in that movie.
His father is Tommy Lee Jones. I thought he
Interesting.
died.
Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Sounds like something we're going to talk about
It
later.
does.
Yeah, it might.
That's what we call a tease.
He's not dead, by the way.
He's not. So that's what you're excited about?
Yeah, those few.
Yeah. I was looking at this list that I pulled up here. There's a lot of what seems to be could be very good movies. Like Shazam was on there.
There's a tease if I ever heard
Another
of it.
tease. There's Us. Captain Marvel. How to Train Your Dragon 3, which I heard is... Yeah, look at this. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes
Wait,
right
is
now.
that out
When's it
already?
come out?
Next month.
So people have seen it?
There's
or
like
is that the want to
there's like
watch
2
story?
reviews,
No, I
and they
think
both liked it.
I looked this past week and there was 10.
Okay,
So it's probably gone up from there, but it wasn't
10 out of
100%.
10.
Tomato,
liked it.
tomato, yeah.
Yeah. The one I'm most excited about, though, is the new Star Wars movie that comes out at the end of the year.
What's it called? Do you know?
Episode 9.
Boo.
I don't think it has a name yet.
Okay.
But I'm excited about that
Oh, I
one.
thought they released the name.
I don't think so, did they?
They released the name of the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they did for Star. Yeah, I mean, you can scroll to the bottom if it says it.
It was, I think I looked at it. I think it was just called Episode 9.
Okay. Maybe
But-
people were just speculating then. I don't
And
know.
it's at the end of the year.
I
Yeah,
think it's in
December.
December. But yeah, I don't think,
Star Wars
Episode 9.
Episode 9.
I don't think it has a name yet, but yeah, so those are the ones to keep an eye out for. Jumanji 2, Frozen 2?
Oof.
I didn't know about that. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Margie Claus? Are you
Oh,
kidding me?
Melissa McCarthy's in that
Is
one.
it Margie?
Margie
No,
Claus.
Margie. I'm pretty sure.
The Addams Family, Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie.
That's my pick that I think is going to be terrible.
That was my pick as well, actually.
Nice, Mitch.
High five. You don't think the Angry Birds movie 2 is going to be terrible?
No, I know that's going to be terrible. But I think the Joker movie is going to get hyped up to be a good movie, and it's going to be a huge letdown.
I agree with you as well.
We got to get into what we think is going to be a disappointment because we don't know. We haven't seen any of these.
What do you think is going to be a disappointment?
Oh, that was another one.
What?
Scroll up a little bit. Artemis Fowl.
Artemis Fowl?
Have you read those? I gave you that book, right?
I have read them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh's doing that?
I don't know who that is.
See? Everyone, this is what we're talking
This
about.
this is our conversation on a daily basis.
Who is that?
He does a lot of like Shakespearean stuff. Like I'm pretty sure he did the movie for Hamlet. He did the first Thor movie. He did Murder on the Orient Express, and he's even got that follow up coming out this next year, or I guess this year.
Huh. Yeah, well, he's doing
So
Artemis Fowl.
does that mean you're more excited for Artemis Fowl?
No, I don't think I'm gonna see it. Like
Okay.
What
I
about
guess it just doesn't appeal
Judi
to me.
Dench is in it? Does that make you excited about it?
She was what M?
Oh, I do know who that is. She sounded
Wait.
familiar.
Wait, I just told somebody yesterday that Julie Andrews played M. Am I wrong about that? I must be
Maybe
wrong
like
about
the
that.
Sean Connery ones.
If the Pope's infallible, right? If the Pope says something like that and it's just wrong, what happens? Does anyone know? Like, are they allowed to just not speculate on anything?
I don't have a good answer for you.
Because, like, that's like a thing, right? The Pope is supposed to be infallible.
Maybe he only spits facts.
He only says what he's absolutely sure about.
I don't think the Pope will be telling somebody that
He's like,
Julie
I think-
Andrews
yeah,
played M
I'm
when
pretty
Judi
sure
Dench
she played that movie.
Oh, I didn't realize I was wrong about that. So that was Judi Dench, right?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Wasn't Julie Andrews Sound of Music?
Yeah. And Billy Poppins, which I also found
Yeah.
out. I did
That's
not
the
realize
same-
she was in both of them.
That's the same girl.
Yeah.
She likes to sing.
They were only a year apart, which I also did not realize. Billy Poppins and Sound of Music were only a year apart.
It's
Fun
impressive.
fact.
You know what I saw? It's Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King was born the same year as Barbara Walters.
What?
Isn't that nuts? Isn't that insane?
How old would Martin Luther King be today if he was still?
1929 is when he was born. I don't know how old he is. You're the
That's 90 years old.
90?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be 90.
He would be 90 years
Barbara
old.
Walters is 90?
I guess, yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts? It
That is
feels like
crazy.
two completely different eras.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. What do you think about the Lion King movie that's coming out?
Mindy's real pumped about it just because it has Beyonce in it.
Big
Beyonce fan.
The actors in this movie seem like they're going to be really solid.
Donald Glover.
Donald
Yeah.
Glover.
I'm excited for Donald Glover. And
Seth
I
Rogen's
like
in
Jon Favreau, but I don't.
Who's
Yeah.
going to be Rafiki?
These Disney remakes, I don't know.
Rafiki.
Does anyone know? This is going to make or break this
I don't
movie for me.
remember it.
I feel like it's gonna be Seth Rogen. Just looking at the names.
I mean, James Earl Jones coming back to play
He's
Mufasa.
Mufasa.
I mean,
It's
that's...
they don't even need to do that though. They can just take the clips from the '90s one.
Or they
Yeah.
could have him... I'm happy he's back. That makes me happy.
Honestly, if they kept all the voices the exact same in the movie the exact same and just redid the animation to do this like somewhat live action, I'd be in for that.
Would they have to pay the original actors then?
Probably.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas is getting a paycheck.
Maybe for once.
This Men in Black movie is going to be terrible, right?
Who's in that?
Chris Hemsworth
I didn't
and
even know that existed.
what's the girl that's in the Creed movie?
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa
right
Thompson. Yeah, that girl. Yeah,
I didn't even know that was coming out.
it looks just awful.
They're doing another X-Men.
I do want to jump back to the Joker really quick
Please
though.
do.
Yes.
Do you guys think it's gonna be good?
No, I don't.
I want it to be. but I don't think he can beat Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah,
They've
just
tried
can't.
so many times.
They just need to
it's
stop.
so soon after.
Retire that character.
They've even got like Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor at being crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Leto is a pretty good actor at being crazy, but Heath Ledger was just so good.
Yeah.
And the guy that got to direct it did The Hangover in Old School.
Oof.
Oh, that's
Like,
not.
It seems like it's intentionally going to be a comedy. It seems like such a DC move for them to do.
Yeah. Yeah, they just need to retire that character and call it a day.
I agree. At least for like 10 to 15 more years. Like,
Yeah.
they need to have some time to settle
Yeah.
on what was maybe the greatest acting role I've ever seen in my entire life.
Honestly, that
Yeah.
was probably the only movie that I was in the movie theater and like, holy crap.
Yeah.
It's a really good acting.
It's just so, like, I remember hearing a story about, like, it was that scene where they have the party and the Joker comes in to break up the party.
The second time he describes his scars, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
he's nuts. He's absolutely insane.
He's eating the cocktail.
Yeah.
It was a scene where I think that Michael Caine was standing there playing Alfred, obviously, and the Joker, Heath Ledger as the Joker walks in, and Heath Ledger's performance is like so powerful that it made Michael Caine forget what he was supposed to say.
Wow.
I remember hearing a story about that. Like, he was just like dumbfounded by
Yeah.
it, which is intense.
Yeah.
This isn't even the only Joker movie coming out. They're doing a Jared Leto follow-up as the Joker.
Guys,
Just stop.
what are they doing?
I will say that, so Mark Hamill, who does like
A great
voice
Joker.
acting for the Joker, does a really good job.
It's Luke Skywalker,
Luke
correct?
Skywalker, yeah. But yeah,
Is that a question?
I just was
that's
double checking.
confirmation.
I'm really good at like faces and voices actually. Like I'm good at like hearing a voice and being like, I know that guy. He was in this movie and that movie. But I'm really bad at names. So,
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Yeah. I heard Mark Hamill. It sounded familiar. I just want to double check. That's Luke
Yeah,
Skywalker.
yeah.
Okay.
So something else that we've been talking about a lot is recently the Mandela Effect, because I feel like stuff pops up every now and then with people. So the Mandela Effect being where the name comes from is that Nelson Mandela, very big public figure in South Africa,
Human rights, I believe.
human rights. He was imprisoned, and some people believe that he died in prison, and some people believe that he was let out of prison and then died afterwards.
In like 2012 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Like way later.
So the whole idea of the Mandela Effect is that you have different segments of society very adamantly believing one or the other is true.
Now the thing is, because I have a couple of these that I'm on the other side of this, and it's baffling. It's not just like, oh, I'm pretty sure that happened. It's like very vivid memories of something that you're positive about. You're just like, no, I know that's a thing, and you go and look it up, and it just isn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
So
I
what
don't
is
know.
one of those that you have?
So there's two of them. Well, I guess three of them that are pretty big. One is the movie Shazam, which
The one coming out?
The one that's
not
coming
the
out
one
this year.
coming out, not the Marvel movie. Shazam featured
That's
Sinbad, the comedian, not Sinbad the pirate. Sinbad the comedian as a genie, and like two kids stumble on him. It was a Disney movie. It was on TV all the time, and that was like the reason that I knew who Sinbad was. You know what I mean? Like, I can picture this movie so clearly in my mind. And I was talking to somebody, and I found out it doesn't exist. And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, how do you know who Sinbad is? Like, that was his movie. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, but everyone's like, there's Kazam. I was like, no, I know Kazam. There's a Shaq movie where he plays a genie, and he like teaches kids about like the streets or whatever. It's terrible. There's a good movie called Shazam that was like run on Disney all the time, and it's a thing. It was 100% a thing, and it just isn't, I guess.
So if you would look up Shazam now, you would not be able to find it.
You'll find a bunch of conspiracy sites saying how Shazam was a thing, and nobody actually can prove it.
I heard Sinbad commented on this.
He did.
Someone asked him about it.
Yeah.
And he basically said there were only 3 copies in existence right now, and he's willing to kill whoever reveals that it actually was a thing.
That's nuts, though. It's like, to have like you're included in this, having such a large faction of people, because this is a big thing on
Yeah.
Reddit, too.
Yeah.
Where people believe that the Shazam movie is real, not the one coming out this year, the
Yeah.
one that has Sinbad in it.
Mm-hmm.
But the counter argument to that is that the other side thinks that people are mistaking the Shazam movie with Kazam,
There's
which is
just no
the
way.
Shaq movie.
There's just no way. Like, there's no way that this many people have such a vivid memory of a movie from their childhood that just doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what kind of lends some credence to it, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Have you heard of the theories as to why the Mandela effect is in existence?
Not really, no.
Some
I've
peop-
heard
some
like
people are
alternate
saying-
timelines.
Also the timelines, right?
Some people think that, like, kind of like Back to the Future, you change something in the past and it alters the future. But then why do we recognize that?
You still
people have a
retain those
difference.
memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
So if that was the case, I guess
It would be everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm
right?
saying.
Right,
Like, how
yeah.
would it just be a select few people that believe?
Maybe like some group of people got brought over from one universe to the
Yeah.
other. I don't know.
I looked up on the screen here, and I have like some examples of the Mandela Effect, and it's funny throughout. Like, they all refer to things as being in this timeline. We
Yeah.
believe this, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's how you want to handle this.
I don't know how I feel about all that.
Yeah, I don't.
but
It's odd to think about.
Yeah.
Like, I know that there might be science out there to back the alternate timeline and multiple timeline theories, but maybe
I don't. That's the thing. I don't think there's no science.
there's
to
no
back that up.
concrete evidence. No, but like I feel like some people vehemently believe that it's a thing.
It's an explanation for a weird phenomenon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I thought was most because like it's easy to look at these and say, oh, that's a thing that people believe. But one of the ones that I was able to relate to was the Bernstein Bears one.
Okay.
I vividly remember it being spelled with the E.
Yeah.
It's Bernstein, like Stein,
Stein.
Bernstein Bears.
Not stain.
But it's not spelled that way. If you look it up now, it's Stain.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
see, I can't really comment on this one because I thought it was Bernstein Bears.
So I guess just to back
I didn't
up
even
a
know
little
it was
bit, it's a
Baron.
children's book.
Right,
The
yes.
Bernstein Bears is a series of children's books.
Yeah.
Which I've read some as a kid, which is why I remember them being Stein,
Yeah.
not Stai. That doesn't even sound right.
Yeah.
Bernstein.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's Bernstein.
Yeah.
Like, it
See,
doesn't-
for me, I was missing a whole syllable anyway, so for me to comment on like a specific letter, I don't think I can do.
Yeah, it's
I'm
And
with
there's-
you. I thought it was Berenstein.
yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone calls it Bernstein. I don't know how it was spelled.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. I don't have a specific connection to that one. But yeah.
What about you, Mitch? Did you have any examples of ones that you
Mandela
thought?
effects?
Yeah.
Not really offhand. I was kind of curious to see what you guys came up with.
I'll get to, you had some other ones here.
I have two more, yeah.
The only one that I thought was interesting, because I had read about this one recently, was the Curious George one. So, some people believe that he had a tail, and some people believe that he doesn't have a tail. He does not have a tail.
Mm-hmm.
But some people thought that whenever they were reading those books that he had a tail throughout, which I thought was interesting. It's kind of along the same lines as like the Bernstein Bears thing,
Yeah.
where people believe one thing.
That's one of those that's like, I don't know. For me, at least, it's hard to determine one way or the other. And I saw a couple of those out there, like the Monopoly Man. When you think of Monopoly Man, what do you think of?
The monocle and the top hat and all that stuff.
He never had a monocle. Look it up.
Oh,
Look it up
you're right.
now.
He just had the mustache and the top hat.
Uh-huh.
Babe, he never had a monocle?
Not once in the history of Monopoly did he have a monopoly.
There was a teacher in my high school that was bald. He had a mustache and he had a monocle, and everyone called him the Monopoly Man.
No. He was
He never
somebody
had a
else.
monocle?
Not once. No.
You,
Look it up.
I
I
have to
promise
right
you.
now.
I promise you.
Did the Monopoly Man ever...
But that's like a minute detail that like I think maybe because it's Monopoly, like monocle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the planners guy had the hat.
That's a monocle.
Yeah, but
Is that
click
the-
on it. It's gonna be he never had one. Yeah. Why people think Monopoly Man Rich Uncle Pennybags had a monocle.
I don't think I could have told you his name was Rich
Yeah.
Uncle Pennybags.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You can go all the way back to like all the chance cards in like the 50s, and none of them shows him with a monocle. But everyone thinks he has a monocle.
That seems like a missed opportunity for Monopoly. I really feel like he should have had a
I know.
monocle.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Interesting.
yeah, so there's a couple of those Mandela effects that like people just like they're little minute details that people misremember all the time. But then there's other ones that like people have very vivid and specific memories of things that just don't exist. You know what I mean? So some of those ones that at least I remember was there's the Tiananmen Square was a big one for me.
So what happened then?
So the whole reason that I remember Tiananmen Square being famous and being like a big thing was because there was a protester out in the middle of the street who got ran over on live TV by these tanks, right? That didn't happen. Apparently the tank stopped and the guy climbed over it, and then that was the day. I watched the video. I watched the video of him not get run over.
So you remember him not being
very vividly.
Not being run over.
No, he got ran over.
You remember him being run over.
100% he got ran over.
Okay.
Like on live TV, they cut the feed almost immediately, and then that was the last. Like that was it, and everyone was in shock. They're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened." That's why it was such a famous thing. Why is Tiananmen Square such a big deal if that didn't happen?
Like,
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I never saw the video. I
Yeah.
just remember when I was younger, like, there's that System of a Down song where they talk about the kids in Tiananmen Square, and my brother's like, oh, that's where the guy got run over by a tank.
yeah,
So, like, I never saw the video. I was just told that. I feel like it's just kind of like the telephone game. Someone
Yeah.
just says something and it keeps exacerbating it, I
maybe.
guess.
But again, I feel like I have a memory of that video of him getting run over, and it just cuts out. You know what I mean? Like, I can picture the TV of where that happened.
wow.
I don't know. It's weird. It's very, very strange. I can't describe it.
I think that is a good example of that, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
I mean, you're definitely not alone in thinking that, for
Yeah.
sure.
But these other ones, like Curious George didn't have a tail, but everyone would associate a monkey with a tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many Stains do you know versus Steins?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it seems like easy stuff to just
Another
misconstrue.
one. This is scroll up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The Billy Graham's funeral. That's not. I wasn't big on the news. I can't really comment, but I saw online that was a big one where a lot of people distinctly remember his funeral was at the same time as Ted Kennedy, which
Okay.
was 2009, I think it was. So like, it was Billy Graham, who was a TV evangelist, televangelist, if you will.
Televangelist, yeah.
And so he's a big religious guy. I guess he died, and they had like a national funeral for him. And then like a week later, Ted Kennedy died, and everyone's like, "Oh, I guess we're just gonna nonstop have funerals." And everyone's like, "Yeah." So like that was just a thing. And then you look, and then he died in 2018. Everyone's like, "No. He's dead." I watched his funeral, and I remember like people were like, I have very distinct memories of that, and then immediately there was another big funeral. So it was like they wouldn't just make that up. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like, why? There were two back-to-back big funerals that like occupied like a month of TV. You know what I mean? And everyone was just like, what? How did that just not happen? You can't just make that up.
What year was this?
It was 2009.
Okay.
2009, Billy Graham's funeral, and then Ted Kennedy's funeral was supposed to be the one right after. And people are like, oh, no, maybe they're just confusing that his wife, because his wife died in 2007, and then Ted Kennedy's, and they're like, no, like I know for a fact, like that's one of the ones that just blow my mind. Again, that's not one that I relate to because I never watched the news. Like that's not something I would have been aware of, but people are like definitely 100%. There's no way I'm misremembering this. This is 100% one of those things.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
The fact that these exist is really crazy. Just
Yeah.
like just people remembering one thing, other people remembering another. There has to be some type of explanation for it besides multiple timelines.
Yeah,
But, you
I
know.
think so. That just seems very unscientific. I'm not a fan of that explanation.
Okay, so we've talked about that a lot. Oh, this one real quick too. Just a few ones that I had here. Some people remember it being Jiffy peanut butter, not Jif peanut butter. It
don't
is
know.
Jif. It's not Jiffy.
I remember Choosy Moms Choose Jif.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another one is people believe that Inspector Gadget in the TV show had a mustache. He does not have a mustache.
I
I don't ever
don't
remember
remember
the
that one.
mustache.
I saw an image of like someone photoshopped the mustache on, and I was like, that doesn't even look natural to me. I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure how people would remember him with a mustache when it looks so bad.
Also, Matthew Broderick never had the mustache.
no,
did
he
not.
definitely didn't.
I remember being so excited about that movie when I was a kid.
And were you disappointed?
I don't remember a single thing about it now.
I remember
Go
that
Gadget
movie.
toothpaste.
Yeah, I remember that movie, and I remember it being okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even as a kid, you're like, I can watch this, I
yeah,
guess.
it wasn't terrible.
Okay, so something else that I did this week was I went on the old Facebook.com and I posted a poll because this was like 2 weeks ago. The three of us were getting coffee in the kitchen, and I had said I had a song stuck in my head, and it was a Nickelback song. And I could not get the song out of my head for like a week after that, and I had to just listen to it at that point. So I started listening to more Nickelback after that. There's a playlist on Apple Music that has like Nickelback's greatest hits.
Oh my god,
okay?
you're a Nickelback fan now.
So
aren't you?
listen. So
The
whenever
Mandela Effect, they're actually good.
I think all of us growing up went through a stage of listening to Nickelback.
Yeah,
Like,
couldn't
when
avoid
Silver
it.
Side Up came out, right? That's the name of that album?
that's like one of the second or third album, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. So I think that people love to hate Nickelback. They love to hate Nickelback.
I agree with that.
I would have put myself in that group as well, where I love to hate Nickelback. And as I was listening to the music, I was trying to figure out why I hated them. And I don't think I hate their music. I think I just hate them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
Wait, you're not anti-Canadian, are you?
I'm not anti-Canadian. Avril
anyone-
Lavigne is fine, I guess.
Really, is anyone
I don't
anti-Canadian?
know.
That's another
Like,
conspiracy.
they're just trying to be nice to you.
Did you hear that people actually believe that Avril Lavigne died and was replaced?
Yeah, that's a conspiracy theory.
That's the funniest thing
It
I've
is
ever
really
heard.
funny. I love people trying to prove that,
Yeah.
like the same with like the Paul McCartney
Yeah.
stuff. So I went to the old Facebook.com and I posted a poll to Twitter. I said, I need help answering a very important question for the next episode of the Take It Offline podcast. Is Nickelback a good band? So I asked a very specific question. Is Nickelback a good band? I said also leave a comment to let me know why or why not. So we got 30 votes here. And
Pretty good turnout.
it is a pretty good turnout. So
Wow.
from this, we have 63% of people that say yes, Nickelback is a good band.
I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised.
I am too. 37% saying no.
They're certified fresh.
So
They are
on
60%.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
What's
Wow.
I think that maybe this poll was used as an outlet for people to secretly admit that they liked Nickelback.
Was it anonymous?
It was not anonymous. I was able to see who posted what. So
Did you
it's-
unfriend anyone?
I did not. No. So here's the thing. So we got some comments here. Steve Loeffler, who is one of our coworkers, said they need more oomph in pretty much every song. So I took this to heart and I went back and I listened to some of Nickelback's songs and I tried to imagine those songs with more oomph in them. And I could kind of see his point. I do see that there's
Like more guitar solos?
there's-
What's an oomph?
I think maybe just more, like more
More oomph.
behind
Okay,
it. I
so
think
like
that
just
Well, they masquerade as a metal band for some reason.
they're definitely not
they're
metal.
not
Right,
metal.
Yeah.
No. I see where he's coming from with this because there was times when I was listening to the songs and I was like, I can't figure out what this song needs, but it just needs more
Oomph.
or oomph.
Like if I had to define it, it'd be oomph.
So something we got more comments here. Courtney Joyce, friend of the show, been on the podcast a few times, says everyone makes fun of them, but they seem to know all the lyrics to their songs, which I think is a very valid point.
They know all the lyrics to their own songs.
No, like everyone. So
People know.
people
the lyrics. Okay.
people know. Yes.
Chad
As
Kroger
a-
knows all his own words.
Yes.
Right, like yeah, if that's the criteria for it, they're a good band. Like I haven't seen them mess up their own lyrics.
So
A lot
like
of bands do that.
if a Nickelback song comes on, like a popular Nickelback song comes on, you're gonna know the lyrics to the song. Like that's
No,
just
you're right.
Because
that's
they're all the same song.
there was
That's
that
a
YouTube
thing,
video that
yeah.
they kind of proved that. I agree with this, and this is Courtney brought this up. I've seen other people bring up a similar point where like people love to trash Nickelback, but anytime any song comes on, they just start belting out the lyrics to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hate a band and know the lyrics to those songs. Like there's just no
That's
way.
not true.
Know thine enemy.
Know thine enemy. That's a really good point. I mean, something that's overplayed on the radio, you
Yeah.
can make a
Yeah,
good point
there was
on
no
that.
avoiding Nickelback. You know what I mean? Like it was just always on the radio. I think that's why people hate
Yeah.
him so much.
Yeah.
Is because it was so overplayed. Like it's not great music, but it was just so overplayed.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing that happens now. Like I'm not saying anything bad about Ed Sheeran or Ariana Grande, but if I change the radio station to get away from that song, it's on the other station.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that they're probably overplayed. Maybe not now, but in their prime. They were overplayed. So Alan Smith,
friend of the show.
friend of the show. He said, I neither like nor dislike Nickelback. Courtney makes a good point. An inherent bad band wouldn't be remembered as well as Nickelback is. Which this is a good point, because I don't think that you can talk about 2000s, we'll put rock in quotations there, without talking about Nickelback. Because they were a very big part of the mid-aughts.
Is that grunge? What is grunge?
I would call it hard rock.
It's not grunge.
I would call it hard rock.
Hard rock?
Yeah.
See, I would call it pop rock.
Yeah.
So those definitely.
Well, I feel like them and Creed are very similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
People
know.
love to hate them.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about them, but they're like those two bands. They have a very similar sound, I would say. But yeah, like rock, like belt rock. I don't know.
With Nickelback, I think it's just that, like, yeah, if anyone hasn't heard This Is How You Remind Me of Someday, look it up on YouTube. It proves that they came up with a formula for one song and they just applied it to every song, which is why they had every song of theirs on the radio. But I think my problem with them, like, I'm not going to say they're a bad band, especially, like, depends how you define bad. They made a lot of money, so they did something really well. But every song just seems so generic, and there's no, like, as soon as you know the next Nickelback album is coming out, there's nothing unique about it. You're like, oh,
Right.
I've already heard that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you like the sound, then you will like all the albums.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But at some point, it's just going to be dull.
I think it's gotten
Yeah.
to that point.
Yeah.
I think it's there.
I will say there's one Nickelback song that no matter when I hear it, it's gonna make me smile, and it's
Photograph?
Oh.
Because all I picture is some homeless dude on the street holding a picture of my face, and he goes, "Look at this photograph." It's just, dude, I don't know why it's the most insane intro to a song.
I kind of want to give you a quarter.
It's great, right?
Spare some
Yeah.
change.
That song just cracks me up, and not because it's good. It's just, it's just funny. It's just.
I would
don't
not
know.
say that is a good song.
No.
It's catchy.
But that's like
Like-
their second biggest hit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's why Nickelback is what Nickelback
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So we have one more comment here from Jen Moosing, friend of the show. She says, questionable, not gonna lie. I dug them when they came out back in, 2000? And somehow I know the lyrics to some of those songs. I wouldn't say they were horrible, at least there is some meaning behind those songs rather than booty, drugs, and whatnot.
Booty.
Booty. I will agree, yeah, you could say that.
I'm just thinking of what that song Rockstar. There's the guy in the
my
background
God.
like, I'll have the quesadilla.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're talking about, fun, times at Taco Bell. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, so I did want to try to put some qualifications behind this to see how we could define Nickelback as being good or not. So I went on the old Wikipedia, and I found awards that they had won. So they've been
Won or
nominated for
nominated?
awards, and they've won some. Now, you could put an asterisk next to this saying, just because they won awards, does that qualify them as actually being good?
Favorite pop
I don't know.
rock band.
Pop
rock.
band, duo, group. So the thing I was most, you could go down through, I mean, if you search list of awards and nominations received by Nickelback, which to me is baffling that this has its own Wikipedia page. But that's
That
besides
is
the
its
point.
own page.
It
I
is
wasn't
its
even
own
looking
page,
at that.
yeah.
That's amazing.
If you
Who
look
has
up,
the time?
honestly,
This had to be from Nickelback. You know what I mean?
They paid someone to create this.
Jack Kroger was in his hotel room making this Nickelback page. So there's this, it kind of breaks down what awards they were nominated for, which ones they won. But if you look down here, they were nominated for 67 awards from the span of, the early 2000s until now. And they won 27 of those. So they're winning about a third of all the awards they're nominated for. So
Is that a good rate?
I don't know. I didn't compare them to like what other, highly successful bands would be. I don't think that's bad though. You've won 27 awards.
That's pretty good.
Out of I don't know how
And
many.
even to be nominated, it's pretty good,
Yeah.
right?
To be nominated, that means that you
You're
have to have
recognized
something
at
that's
least.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
So
Some of these are just how much you're played on the radio, though, like Billboard Music Awards, Much Music Video.
so if we go down,
Much music. Oh
So
yeah,
that's what it was called, I
Very
think.
much music, please.
yeah. So like Billboard
I'll have much music.
Hot 100 Single of the Year. for How You Remind Me.
Yeah.
That's
checks
that
out.
one song they
Yeah.
recreated 10 times.
Yeah, they won all of those for How You Remind Me in
Mitch, what was the
2002.
name of the video again?
How You Remind Me of Someday.
How
How-
You Remind Me of Someday. You
Just
guys
has-
need to YouTube that
It
because
was-
it's eye-opening.
Yeah.
It really is.
If
So-
Mike wasn't scared of getting copyright infringement
No.
lawsuits,
I think you're okay. You can
Are
do
we?
that. Can you play that?
you should put that in this.
You should play that right.
I'll
real
link
quick.
it. I'll link it.
Okay.
I'll link it. So, what is your final take? Is Nickelback good or is Nickelback not good? I'm gonna use good as generically as I can and let you interpret how you want.
See, I'm not one of those guys that's just gonna hate on them to hate on them, but I don't enjoy listening to them at this point, so I'm gonna say no.
Did you
They're just not for
enjoy?
me.
Did you enjoy listening to them back?
Oh yeah, sixth
you-
grade. They were the best song at the dance.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Liddy?
I think I'm in the same boat. They're definitely not like bad. Like if you're just looking objectively, they're not a bad band. I think they're decent. I think they're overplayed. They're an okay band that was way overplayed and people hate them now.
Yeah.
See, look at this. This photo has not Chad Kroeger, but the guitarist holding a Gibson Explorer. Like he's trying to be Metallica, but then they just write pop stuff.
Yeah.
So you're in the boat that they're not good, or they are good.
Objectively, they're pretty good.
I'm right there with you. Where I can't say that they're bad.
Yeah.
But I can't say that they're good either. That they are okay. I think that
They're-
they get more hate than they probably deserve.
They're a victim of circumstance, I think.
So I
they reap the
think
benefits and now they reap the hate.
I think that people love to hate Nickelback in the same way that people love to hate Tom Brady, quarterback of the New England Patriots.
God, you think they're the best of all time?
Not the boat.
Not the
The
boat.
goat.
No, I'm comparing the two in terms of where they are in their career, or where they are in the standings of their industry. I'm not trying to compare that, but people love to hate Tom Brady. People love to hate Nickelback.
Yeah.
I don't love hating
Tom
Tom,
Brady
Brady. I
is
just hate
Nickelback.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, no, I hate Tom Brady as next to the next guy, as much as the next guy, don't get me wrong. But I would argue that Tom Brady is better than Nickelback.
Like,
Just
Tom Brady can sing better than
in
Chad
their own,
Kroeger.
probably. In their own field, I think Tom Brady has a better skill level than
No,
Nickelback.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying saying skill level at all. I'm just saying like the comparison of the public perception to each. Where
They just publicly hate him.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Can I go on a rant about Tom Brady's best pass in the first half yesterday?
please.
It was that 2-inch pass to Cordero Patterson when he ran it for 15 yards.
2-inch pass.
The shovel pass where instead of handing off where you're more likely to be successful on it.
There's actually a statistic called air yards, which tracks how far the ball is.
Oh,
in the
he's got to
air.
be so low
I was
on
gonna say
that.
that's
Screen passes and those jet sweeps.
people love to throw that statistic out
Can I
there.
ask you a question? Is it shovel pass or shuttle pass?
Shovel.
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 Was it shuffle?
I thought it was shuffle.
Shovel.
Shovel.
Shovel with a V. Like you're digging a grave, shovel.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
You could have said digging a hole. You didn't have to say digging a grave.
Graves are holes.
Okay.
What else do you do with your holes?
Yeah.
You can
Why?
put-
Do you have a shovel in there?
Plant trees. I don't know.
You don't shut your mouth. I'm gonna need a shovel real quick.
So real quick, is there any other band? We kind of talked. Is there any other bands that you think have that same stigma to them?
Definitely Creed.
Creed.
You mentioned that.
I love Creed though.
I like Creed too.
Creed is great.
I,
We used to sing a cappella Creed. We would get hammered at college. We would just go on the porch and just belt out a cappella Creed. Nobody knew the words. We would just mash up all their songs, but it was just so fun. They're a good
It's just a
sing-along
jumbled
band.
mess of
Yeah.
lyrics.
did you take people higher?
I can take you higher.
So the singer of Creed, Scott Stapp, actually lives in my hometown.
Really?
Oh,
And
really?
my friend in high school used to run into him at the LA Fitness there.
On
then-
purpose?
No, he would just go there. And,
Physically running.
Run into him.
I hate that song.
I hate your music.
But yeah, then Scott Stapp got arrested for throwing a can of Orangina at his wife's face.
That's probably not something you should do.
Orangina.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
Orangina.
It's like some fake orange juice, I think.
Like
Wait,
Tang?
what's your hometown?
Boca Raton.
Oh, okay. Is it Boca Raton or Raton?
Raton.
Raton. Okay.
What does that stand for? What does that mean in English?
Mouth of the rat.
Mouth of the rat. That's
Interesting.
right.
Isn't that what a bunch of old people are?
Yeah. That's why I'm not
Oh,
there
Florida.
anymore.
Yeah.
Florida.
I'll be back someday.
All the state of Florida.
Sorry, mom
Except
and dad. Yeah.
It's God's waiting room.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they called it.
I did a little bit of digging to see if what bands or what artists people love to hate in addition to like Creed made that list.
For sure. Yeah.
But Lil Wayne was on there.
That surprised me.
It surprised me too. I didn't know that people hated Lil Wayne.
I did not either. I like Lil Wayne.
I like Lil Wayne. He's fine, yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of lollipops though.
He was a big fan of
He's not the rapper for you, Michael.
Yeah.
I listen Lil Wayne in high excuse me.
Did you say little?
Lil
Lil Wayne.
Little Wayne.
Little Wayne. I listened to a lot of him in high school. He's good.
Yeah.
I liked his old stuff. Didn't he have a stroke recently?
I have no.
He had some kind of big medical issue recently. He went to jail for a while, and then I thought he had a stroke, or like something happened where he drank too much scissor, as he is one to do.
Yes.
And I don't think he's been the same since. I haven't really listened to him.
Who's better, Eminem or Lil Wayne?
Eminem.
I agree.
Although Lil Wayne has some good songs.
He's good. This is one of those situations that I like to clarify and saying just because one is better than the other does not mean that the other one is bad.
Correct.
Do you know his daughter was on that show, My Super Sweet 16?
Lil Wayne and Eminem.
Lil Wayne.
I did not know that. So he has a 16-year-old daughter?
This was like years ago.
So
How old's Lil Wayne?
she
I
might
don't
be
know.
a little older than 16.
She's probably
Now
like
she
20
would be.
now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Haley, right?
That's
I don't know.
Eminem's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's talking about Lil Wayne's daughter.
Lil Wayne.
Oh, Lil Wayne's daughter. I thought we were talking about Eminem's
No.
daughter.
I did too.
Huh.
Not the real Slim Shady.
Oof.
Ooh.
Oof.
All right. Moving on. Our last topic of the day is
Well,
something that we have talked about
This is a big one.
at length lately.
Yeah.
And it all started with me from finding this BuzzFeed video that says, BuzzFeed article, my bad. 19 of the absolute dumbest things flat earthers have actually said. So, to understand where this is coming from, there is a segment of society that, for some reason, thinks that the planet that we live on, planet Earth, is not round, it is flat. And that if you go too far in one direction, you will fall off the edge of the Earth. Yes, this is true.
I guess.
Yes. So there's these.
I have a hard time believing that this is a real thing.
I
Oh,
think
it's a bunch of trolls.
I hope. I really do.
I-
For the sake of our
I don't know.
flying disc through the earth.
To me, it's just too big of a thing at this point for it to be fake. Like, I don't think so. Genuinely think that people believe that the Earth is flat.
I have more faith in the internet being trolls than in
Yeah.
people being this.
I
dumb.
would love it to be true. So I wanted to
You
talk.
would love this to be true.
I would love.
Why?
I would love for people to genuinely believe the Earth is flat.
Why would
would
you
not
want
love-
that?
Because it's comical to look at. Like this post.
You just want to laugh at
I
them?
want to laugh at them. I want something to laugh at.
Oof.
It's
It speaks volumes.
I want to send them to a public school.
well.
I
So
want them to get like punched in the face as hard as anyone's ever been punched in the face.
Say, now your face is flat too.
some of these that I really enjoy. There's this tweet, a Facebook post. Looks like a Facebook post from the Flat Earth Society that says the Flat Earth Society has members all around the globe, and the SciTech
Trolls.
members commented and said, "Say that again, but slowly."
All around the globe.
All around the globe. Rudy, one of the ones that really pertains to you
Oh, that's funny.
is about pilots having to take an oath. So all pilots believe that the Earth is flat, is what I'm told. And that they
I
have to
can't comment or speculate on the matter. I
So
was
Rudy,
told.
you're a pilot in training?
Yeah, I actually have my pilot's license.
So you're-
No, my student. I'm going for my student. Sorry, I'm going for my pilot's license. I have my student pilot license.
Okay. So you're a PIT,
Basically, yeah.
a pilot in training.
In pit too.
Yep.
Pit and
There you
pit.
go. So pilots have to believe they know that the Earth is flat, and they have to take an oath.
He's pleading the fifth.
Yeah, can't comment or speculate.
Would you say the Earth is flat?
I cannot comment or speculate on that.
I, the pilot in training.
We need to find that post because that was glorious.
Let me find it here.
It's somewhere in here, but yeah.
There was one.
No, to set this record straight, I do not think the Earth is a flying disc while every other heavenly body up in the sky is round. The Earth is the only flat thing in the universe flying through the universe.
This one right here was funny. I'll link this in the post that I put. But there's a post here that says it's a picture, very clearly it's a picture of a satellite image of Earth from space. And the comment says this is 300,000 feet or so, I think. So they're saying that the elevation is 300,000 feet up in the air.
Or it could just be a mass of feet. Like
or,
dismembered feet.
Yes.
It's hard to say.
And somebody, probably a flat earther, said, LOL, that's a close-up of a snowball. Which doesn't make any sense to me.
Like you can see the atmosphere.
You can see, like, this doesn't even remotely resemble a snowball.
I like that post was Virgin Galactic. So, because they were complaining about, like, NASA using high-grade fisheye lenses to curve the Earth, but, like, that's a private company.
That's something else that flat earthers believe, is that NASA or SpaceX or whomever uses fisheye lensing to give the appearance of the curvature of the Earth.
So,
and that's why people believe that
one
it's
of the
round.
things on here, which I was a big fan of, was just because someone uses a fisheye lens, which NASA very well might, doesn't mean that something is flat. So, like, the comment on that was, I can take a picture of a basketball with a fisheye lens. That doesn't mean that it's a flat basketball. Yeah. Like, it's still round. You're just using a different lens. It doesn't have any bearing on anything.
So this post, I'll read this off real quick. It's kind of slightly incoherent. As many flat earthers probably are. I ran into an old friend from high school this summer. When I found out he is a pilot, I locked my arm in his and said, You're my new best friend. Then I said, here's why. I'm a flat earther. Is the Earth flat or is it a ball? He said, well, it looks flat-ish. I said, okay. Well, there is a lot of arguing and debating. Sphere believers always ask why more pilots don't say Earth is flat. He pulled me aside and whispered, we took an oath, and if we break it, we lose our pilot's license. I whispered back, thank you. Out of respect, I will never say his name. You can believe me or call me a liar. It makes zero difference to me. Some things are true if you believe it or not.
I can say that I want to be friends with one of the people in this post, and it's not the person who posted it. That pilot seems like he's got a good sense of humor. He's got to be fun.
I'm sad. I don't think that this interaction is genuine. I don't think that she has a pilot friend.
I believe this story because if somebody were to ask me that, I wish that I could have this interaction back, because that's the only logical thing to say to somebody like this. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to, in a bar, convince them that the Earth is round because you're a pilot. Yeah. You're just going to keep throwing absolute craziness at the wall, see what sticks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only way to really thoroughly change this person's mind is to just play along with it.
So, none of us believe that the Earth is flat, right? We're all logical human beings.
I'm a sphere believer myself.
This one cracked me up. So, flat earthers believe that there is on the poles, so the North Pole and the South Pole, they believe that there is something called the ice wall that prevents them from seeing the edge of the Earth.
Which is protected by NASA employee government.
Yes.
Agents. Yeah.
So
now's their chance. The government shut down. Go see the wall, guys.
Just the American government protecting people from running off the Earth?
It's the space government.
They believe NASA protects the entire wall around Earth.
So not like UN, just NASA.
This is what Trump's Space Force is for, is to protect the wall.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That and to keep everyone on the planet in case we don't just like fly off it like a fly on a frisbee.
So, with the ice wall in mind, here's a post from a man named Tyler, logical fella, saying, can anyone please provide me a video of military patrols stopping flat earthers from going to the ice wall? There's got to be one since they have surrounded our flat Earth. Nathan, another logical fella, says, happened to me last week, but my phone was dead. Sorry, Tyler.
Damn it, Nathan.
A bunch of trolls.
Yeah, for
bunch
sure.
of college students just sitting there.
Nathan, if only you had... Why would you... Nathan, missed opportunity, buddy. You could have taken a photo of that wall.
So Nathan is 100% a troll. For sure. There's no chance he's not.
I want to believe that it's real.
The people that really confuse... Or the people that really just scare the hell out of me are Tylers of
Yeah.
the world. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to be confused and like maybe like you're just uncertain, but you just take a stance that the Earth is flat and surrounded by an ice wall, protected by NASA. Like that, how is that your first go-to? You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
just
people
so,
like that vote. You know what I mean? Like those are the people. Like that's an average citizen at this point. Like that's terrifying to me.
so there are arguments that can be made that are so illogical that you can't argue against them because those people do not believe in fact.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, have you been on the Flat Earth Society's website?
I have not.
I checked it out before this podcast. Like, there's no way it's not a joke. They haven't had a new member since 2016. I feel like they do it just for marketing, like clickbait on the internet.
All right, that makes me feel a lot better.
They have physics on there trying to prove that the Earth is flat, and they get into like special relativity. They're like, Einstein was wrong about something. He said he was wrong, so he must be wrong about multiple things. And they get into Newtonian physics and the laws of
Really?
motion. And they draw that diagram. You guys remember in physics where you throw a ball from like a roof and you have to calculate when it's going to hit the
Yeah.
ground because
Yeah.
it's accelerating from gravity? They're like, okay, assume gravity's not in the equation. That ball just goes on flat horizontally for forever.
Okay.
And it's like intentionally written in a confusing way so that maybe they can trick some gullible people into like looking into
Wait,
more.
so if gravity didn't exist, the Earth would be flat.
If gravity didn't exist, that ball would just be going in a straight line perpetually.
Yeah.
So the Earth must be flat.
How? What?
Wait,
Yeah, that's their argument.
so what is the final objective of a flat earther?
I
So
don't.
let's say that they believe that it's flat. Then what?
I feel like I don't know. I have no idea.
That's why I think it's just for publicity. Like, I went on their website; they probably get ad revenue.
I was gonna say, is there
Yeah, you're
sponsors on
probably
there?
right.
Because that would be
Probably.
really terrible.
Yeah, that's a big one right here.
This one.
The Flat Earth Society, an actual tweet. Elon Musk, what did he tweet first? He goes, "Why is there no Flat Mars Society?" And they go, "Hi Elon, thanks for the question. Unlike the Earth, Mars has been observed to be round. Hope you have a fantastic day." From the actual Flat Earth Society.
How?
So like, if they're shown evidence that something is round, like they'll believe it. You know what I mean? Like they've clearly gone out of the way and physically seen that Mars is round, because you can do that with a telescope. What? How do you not be like, okay, every other planet is round, the sun is round, all of everything in the universe is round except for the Earth. The Earth
Well,
is a flying frisbee.
Flat earthers also believe that the sun is a construct that exists inside of Earth's atmosphere.
No, they don't.
They do.
They do. One of these posts was about
Yeah.
the clouds being in front of it.
Yeah, because there's that post about, there's a post in here that they think that the sun is not millions of miles away, that it exists inside of Earth's atmosphere.
My God.
Yeah.
They also
So
This one, there's this here, this post on
NASA.
Yeah. So I think this is a troll.
leaked photo of NASA taking the sun down for maintenance.
Yeah.
It's like the Truman Show.
Yeah.
It's just unreal that it's so difficult to argue against it because you're trying to argue with logic and they just shut down the logic with it being conspiracy.
See, the thing is, like, it's hard to tell when there's like genuine people who believe this and when it's trolls.
Yeah.
I think
'Cause
the
they-
majority of the Flat Earth Society are trolls.
I
who
think
are just
it's-
so ingrained in doing this that
It's
they
also
just,
telling to me that it's difficult to distinguish between the two
yeah,
because that's not a good sign either.
no, yeah,
I also found it on their interesting on their website. They talk about religion a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, well, this doesn't really adhere to any religion, but some of us are religious and stuff." And I'm like, "You're going based on observation only. You haven't observed the Earth to be round, so you assume it's flat. But you're also a person of faith. Like, you've never observed any of this
Yeah,
stuff.
any stuff
It just
in the
seems like a
Bible,
paradox to me.
Yeah, it is.
And you know what else is crazy? Like, literally, in BC, they calculated the circumference of the Earth. There's a guy, I forget his name. It's not, Eratosthenes is his name.
Okay.
He's an ancient Greek mathematician, calculated the circumference of the Earth within 10% in 300 BC. He was able to figure this out.
But we have people that believe that the Earth is not
And
round.
now, in 2019, In 2019, we have people who genuinely believe the Earth is flat.
You know,
I don't get it.
someone had to have this thought initially too, though. Like, what can I try to throw a wrench into today?
Yeah. The thing that gets me is there's thought behind some of the flat Earth things. You know what I mean? Like they're actually trying to apply physics, and like they went out of their way to create their own globe. Like you can see it. Like they redid the globe so that it fits onto a plate. Like how? Like what?
Yeah,
You
it's
couldn't have spent any other time doing anything more productive.
they just love.
My
yeah.
solution for the flat earthers are send them into space, let them see the Earth is round, and then don't try to bring them back. Let them just die in space.
I think a more humanistic, we'll go. That's a word maybe.
Sure.
Approach is you could literally put them in an airport and have them do a round trip,
Yeah.
like going west.
No, you can't go west. It would have to be north-south
Why couldn't it be west?
because they have to go over the ice wall.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have them do that, that proves it.
Yeah.
You mentioned people trying to observe it in space. Did you guys read about the guy that actually tried to make it to space on his own?
No.
Some flat earther made like a junkyard rocket for himself, and he made it 1,800 feet,
Wow.
something like that, before the seat ejected. So he made it safely back to Earth, and he didn't make it high enough that he could observe that the Earth was round. So he's
Yeah.
still a flat earther.
I feel like at that point you could see it.
I gotta say, I respect the hell out of that guy, though. Like,
You
good
have-
for you. He's literally like a backyard rocket scientist. Got 18,000 feet in the air. Like,
1,800, I think.
yeah. Okay.
So like, if you go skydiving,
Yeah.
you're way above where this guy was.
Oh,
1,800's nothing then.
Yeah.
All right, never
that's
mind.
yeah, that's less
Did I
impressive.
say
than-
1,000? It was 1,800.
You might have said 100, and I think I also thought 1,000.
I heard 1,000, but I can't say for sure which one you said.
We'll fix it in
I just
post.
know what I heard.
Alrighty.
We'll fix it in post.
I also read about another experiment from like the 1800s that they're still doing to prove that the Earth is flat. Did you guys hear of the Bedlam level?
No.
Something like that. So I guess telescopes were only accurate up to like 5 or 6 miles when they were doing this in the late 1800s. And they would take one ship and sail away from another ship 5 or 6 miles away. And they're like, see, I can still see the ship. They're not going over the horizon. But it's only 6 miles away.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
the curvature, there wouldn't be enough curvature there to you would still see it. Yeah, yeah.
But they didn't observe the Earth to be flat, or to be round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
you just
frustrating.
can't convince everyone. That's just what we got to deal with.
I expect more from the global population in 2019. You know what I mean?
When social media exists, I don't. Like,
I
social
know.
media is just an outlet for stupid people.
It's the worst. It really is.
Yeah.
Because it makes you feel like there's just so many people like that. You know what I mean? But probably it's in reality it's probably maybe 1% of the U.S. population.
Yeah.
But because they're a vocal minority, it just sounds like there's such a big population.
Oh, it can't even be 1%. It's got to be so small. It's
Yeah,
probably
so
like
Yeah.
5 people.
Yeah.
Kylie Irving is one of those.
He retracted it. I almost feel like it's like Scientology, where people say that they are just to get paid to say that. Maybe someone has to sign an NDA. I don't know.
Actually, that's a good call. It's probably true.
Maybe.
I can see that. If it is just one big publicity stunt, who's to stop them from going and getting a celebrity endorser? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd take money to say something on social media
I
because who
would.
cares?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Interesting.
I could totally see that happening.
Is that a conspiracy within the conspiracy?
No, that makes me sleep better at night. That's what
Okay.
it does.
Alrighty. Well, this has been fun. I think that this is where we're gonna end it.
Okay.
Forever?
Forever.
Season 3's coming
This
next?
is season 2, episode 1. I'll see you next January for season 3, episode 1. Alrighty. So before we leave, we'll go with some closing thoughts. Mitch, is there anything you'd like to say to the gentle listeners?
I would say the Flat Earthers won because we talked so vigorously about them. But what makes me feel better is we shoved it into the same episode as a More Stuff Oreo. So
Yes.
That's where it belongs.
Yes,
That's true. Yeah,
Yes.
just absurdity. This is what this episode is about.
it was. Yeah. I mean, we covered a lot of different things, and it was a lot of fun. What about you?
My closing thoughts, I would say, happy to be back. Glad you're doing the podcast again.
Agreed.
Congrats on your masters, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us back, buddy.
Absolutely. My closing thought is also that I'm happy to be back. It was missed. I really enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking with everyone that comes on. I'm excited to. It was just a joke. There's going to be more episodes. I'm not waiting until January 2020 to start this up again.
He says that now.
Yeah, until I'm just like, well, this was exhausting, and I don't really want to do this ever again. But no, it was fun. So with that, this has been the Take It Offline podcast. You can go find me on iTunes, SoundCloud, any of your favorite podcasting platforms.
Online?
Online.
Are you on Spotify?
We don't talk about Spotify. And with that, until next time, I will see you later.